Hello, hello. Hey, all. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure my microphone is on. Okay, all right. Here we go. First off, happy Friday to those of you who are in the Midwest. It is cold, freezing cold, and the temperatures were really low this morning. So we had a 2 hour snow delay in our school district, which kind of, had to do a little shuffle to my morning routine, which meant I just now got in my morning workout for lunchtime. So hence the headband and the quick sweep back of the hair. So showered, threw on some non-workout clothes to come on here with you all because we are here for Filter Free Friday and we are going to get right down to it. It's showtime. It is showtime. I know it's showtime. I know it's showtime for my HR and DE&I professionals out there because we are right knocking on the door of February, which is Black History Month here in the US. And then right behind that is March, which is Women's History Month here in the United States. And I think March 30th, don't quote me on the dates. There's a date in March where it's International Women's Day. So everyone who's watching right now is probably geared up for March for a big event, which means it's showtime, which means we have to get the invites out. We have to plan the refreshments if you're doing something in person. You got to get the venue. If you're virtual and online, you got to make sure everybody knows the Zoom or the team chat to get out there, get it on their calendar so they can, have their time. We know all the logistics behind the scenes that we're going through right now to prepare for February and March. And so you have this feeling where you're feeling like you're on, right? Where you're most likely the one that's going to be introducing the event, sending out all of the communications throughout your organization. And very often you and your team are the face of these events. So this is your time to shine and to really knock it out of the park and have a great event for everyone and to educate them and to bring everyone together. So absolutely good intentions. I don't mean to imply anything other than that. But what I do want to talk about is the flip side of that, where it can feel like a show, like you're putting on a performance, and it can feel a bit inauthentic. Why? Well, if your organization is not yet inclusive, if they are just at the beginning, they are on the road, they've had some setbacks, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, we're still not there yet. And you know it, you've seen the employee feedback, you've seen the metrics, you know where your organization is at. And then to kind of come in February and March and put on this big production about how we want to celebrate our brown and Black and women employees feels a bit incongruent. Okay, so let's just keep that real. And it can also lead to fatigue and a bit of cognitive dissonance, right? Where the behind the scenes, the picture that's real, but you're putting on this face of look how far we've come, or we want to celebrate the good that we've done, even though you know in your heart of hearts that much more could have been done, right? So now you're dealing with this cognitive dissonance, this emotional and mental fatigue of having to put on a big production for your organization. And over time, that can wear on an individual, right? And so that's why we see the revolving door for HR and DE&I professionals that are leading cultural change is about 2 to 3 years, because you can only do that for so long before you're just like, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else. And also too, I just want to say that you don't have to go it alone. Okay. You don't have to go it alone. We see you, we hear you, we know the good work that you're trying to do. We know your heart is in the right place, and you're just trying to do something to nudge the organization along. And if that requires a buy-in for a training or a big week-long celebration, celebrating culture, you're going to do it because it's something for the employees. Okay. I get it. No judgment at all. But we're going to put a pin in that and come back because we have some help for you at the end. So hang on for another 6 minutes or so. Okay. In the meantime, I got a bone to pick with some DE&I professionals that have been in the game for a minute. And when I say in the game for a minute, I'm going to say like 20 years plus, right? So they've seen a lot. They've seen a lot since the 90s and late 90s, 2000s, around a lot of corporate trainings and a lot of initiatives that have started and stalled or completely failed, actually. And they're kind of lashing out at other DE&I professionals that are quote unquote doing performative work. Well, okay, let's back up here for a second. Number one, there are bad apples. There are absolutely bad apples in every profession, okay? Ours is no exception. So we have doctors, right? In the late 90s, early 2000s, you had doctors that were running pill mills for OxyContin and all types of barbiturates, right? They were sworn to protect and do no harm, and here they were doing harm to the population that they were trained to serve, right? You have not only in the healthcare profession, in athletics and sports, right? We see all the time where coaches are, yelling at the students, college students or professional athletes, treating them like children, punishing them, right, for all kind of minor infractions that are all the way to the extreme, right? We see, and again, in every profession, there's a few bad apples. And we can't color the whole profession. I mean, if you go to a doctor and they don't see you, hear you, they're not authentic, you guys don't have a good vibe, you think they're just going to write me a script and get out of here, and they really don't care about treating the root cause, you don't give up, you press through and you see another doctor. You don't write off doctors completely, especially if you're in pain and you need to seek medical treatment. You'll just keep going. So I implore you to apply the same concepts to DE&I professionals, which is if you bring someone in and they aren't quite the right match, you don't give up, right? You keep seeking. And so you do that through testimonials, through interviewing them, for seeing if there's a good match, if they really understand your company's cultures and your needs and where you're at right now and where you're seeking to go. Okay, so don't give up there. Also, I have another bone to pick, which is around DE&I professionals just doing performative training. Well, let's be real here, okay? Most professionals and most organizations in the space are small, right? They're an LLC of one, maybe two, max three people, right? It's usually just one person. And if they get a big gig, if they get a big contract, then they'll pull in other associates. But for the most part, it's just them. Okay, so they're an LLC of one. And if they're just starting out, they have to get revenue. They have to build up their clientele. They have to build up their credibility in the industry. And so where do they go? Well, they go with organizations that are seeking them out for trainings that are just kind of one and done talks or keynotes, or maybe a half-day workshop. And then, you move on to the next. And you need to do that in order to build up revenue for your company, for your LLC, so that when you do have enough and you're ready to scale, you can now go after some of those bigger clients and those longer term contracts where you can do some real good work. Okay. You're not going to change. No one is going to change an organization's culture with a 50-minute keynote or a 4-hour workshop or even a 2-week training session for managers. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So we have to set realistic expectations about this whole dynamic in this whole industry. And then also too, and again, this is Filter Free Friday, filters down, I'm keeping it real. When it comes to women consultants and women that are solopreneurs, especially women of color, talk about being undersold. I mean, fighting and scraping for every penny and dollar of their worth. Okay. Can't tell you how many times an organization will reach out. Hey, can you fill in the blank, do whatever, workshop, keynote, whatever it might be. And then you give your price for what that's going to be, and immediately trying to talk you down. Right. Or immediately saying, well, hey, that's out of our budget. Okay. But what were your expectations? I mean, you're asking for all these things, but then you're coming with a scant budget. And then you have to wonder, and well, actually, we don't have to wonder. I take that back. We don't have to wonder at all. We know for a fact from data and metrics and research that's been done is that women, again, particularly women of color that are consultants and trainers or providing a knowledge service business are woefully underpaid, right? Compared to their white male counterparts. And again, I've seen it on the other side, right? We're holding holding a conference, and the white male keynote presenter is somehow mysteriously paid more than the female keynote presenter the year prior. And it's always a good excuse, right? Oh, well, we had a sponsor that was willing to pay more this year. Or, well, we just allocated more in the budget this year. And so, yeah. Okay, right. Always a rationale or a reason for why one is paid more than the other, even if we are comparing apples to apples around experience and expertise. But nonetheless. So that's the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is we're not paying these folks the way that they need to be paid. They have to eat. They have a mortgage and children and living needs just like everyone else does. And so as a result, they will absolutely take the gig or take the contract or take the talk or the workshop again in order to bring revenue in. So in hopes that the organization will see their worth, see what they're saying, hear what they're saying, and want to work with them and do some deeper work, right? Which is a perfect segue, which I get to pick right back up where I left off in point one. Perfect segue into how we can help you. These HR and DE&I professionals out there, my colleagues out there that are doing the great work, that are about to put on some fabulous shows in the next couple of months. Here's where we pick up to help you. Let's look at this as an opportunity. Let's look at this as an opening, right? If the organization is willing to support financially and with other resources for this big show, now's the opportunity for you to drive in and sell the business case, right? Let's get our full ROI, our full return on our investment from all the effort and energy that we put into this big grand display, this big wonderful show and performance that we did, saying that we celebrate and appreciate a diverse and inclusive workforce for Brown and Black employees and women in particular. Let's really back that up and get our investment dollars that we're going to put into this through continuing programs, through continuing work, right? And so you use this as an opportunity to build the business case. Now, how do you do that? Okay, specifically, a couple of tips here. One, now's the time to do a snapshot, okay? Now's the perfect time for you to put out that employee survey and test the sentiment of the employees right now, right? Like literally on Monday, get it out there. And then do it at the end of March or at the end of your big show, right? And gauge if there is a difference. Hopefully there is, but we'll see, right? We'll find out. So gauge if there's a difference. So that's the first thing. Second, testimonials. Grab those testimonials from the people that were in attendance, either virtually or in person. Find out what it is that they liked about your series, what they now want more of, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, whatever you're going to do, whatever cultural performance, whatever keynote you bring in, whatever workshop you do, is most likely going to bring awareness to individuals to say, oh my goodness, okay, this is how I can be inclusive. This is how I can be better aware and be more inclusive to my peers or my staff, or, oh, okay, I can do some things different. So prayerfully, there's some serious call to actions here that's very personable for employees to take away. Otherwise, I'm going to question what you're doing over the next 2 months. So now that they have some awareness and an action plan of 1 or 2 things that they're going to want to do to work on as a result of attending your big event, they're going to need more help. They're going to need some support, right? Again, we know that changing culture is not a one and done. we know that once or twice a year, they're not going to come to some grand epiphany and everybody's going to go out and now be more intentionally inclusive. Not going to happen, right? So they're going to need some ongoing support. What is it? Get that from your employees. It's not you saying it. These are your people saying it, which helps to go into that business case for the fact that you're going to need some long-term support. Okay. So with that, I implore you, please reach out to info@Angel Speaking. In fact, let me put that right down here on the banner. info@angelspeaking.com. We are a consortium of certified facilitators, coaches, consultants. Again, I even have a mental health expert on staff, a consortium of people that are working, banding together, locking arms, doing the great work of really trying to advance the culture in organizations to be more inclusive. Okay. So again, my HR and DE&I folks, you are not alone. There is support out there to help you. info@angelspeaking.com is here to help. And again, if you've had a bad experience, if that speaker you had in February was boring, if the person that came in March missed the boat and folks just kind of fell flat, and you'll know that from your employee surveys and from the testimonials, you'll find out if they hit the nail on the head or they missed it. It's okay. It is absolutely okay. That was a learning opportunity. All right. So now that you have the data and the information, you can course correct, and we would absolutely love to help you do so. So with that, thank you all for hanging with me. Again, I told you we're going to keep it real. So if those out there that disagree with what I said, let's go. Let me know, right? DM me, or let's get the conversation going. Okay. All right. With that, have a beautiful, happy, and safe and healthy weekend. And we will be right back here next Friday for Filter Free Friday from Angel Speaking. All right. Take care. Bye.